Hello everybody, this is part 2 of that video. I apologize. My brother decided to call me during the middle of that. So I'm gonna put this up as part 2, and if you guys are interested, you can finish it up from there. So, where was I at? Oh yeah, talking about some Bakemonogatari goodness. That series is great, right? It was a big influence on me. I think it taught me that, I don't know if I won't say it taught me anything, to be honest, but it definitely is just an amazing series, and it gives me a lot of inspiration, I can say that, to do my best, and to say, hey, like, my circumstances, like, they're not, like, they don't dictate what I want to do, which is very important. It's so hot. I shouldn't wear this hoodie, but I'm not wearing anything underneath, so I'm just going to brave it for a few more minutes so I can finish it up. Yeah, I gotta say, like, to me, that series is important to me, right? And so then I fell in love with that series. Like, I fell in love with that series so much. And then, what else did I watch during that time? I remember watching a lot of, getting into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. During that time I was doing that group, I got into Hunter x Hunter a lot. Or on High School Host Club. Like, I watched a ton of stuff. Just a ton of stuff. Right? I remember one season I got so, burnt out, actually, because I was watching too much anime, and I was trying to watch everything, and because of that, I was just being so, what was it? I was watching everything that I just couldn't handle it anymore. Like, I just got bored. I didn't want to watch anything, which is an issue, right? Because, back then, like, I had to watch everything, because I had, like, a big part of the anime, experience is watching all the shows, making sure that you, can keep up with the conversation with everyone. At least that's how it was back then, but now it's just, eventually I was like, I just can't watch everything. And granted, all the shows I was watching, they were good shows. There was nothing I was watching that I didn't want to watch. It was like during the interviews of Master Gores and Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and like a lot of fantastic quality content going on. It's just that, like, it's just, for me, it just became too much. So, I remember that happening. So, I think that's a big issue with the anime fandom, is this need to watch everything. And they have, like, My Anime List, which is like, oh, we're gonna keep track of everything we watch, and we're gonna rate everything we watch, and we're gonna have, like, scores, like, best of that. And it comes into, oh, I've watched more stuff than you've watched, or you come in like, oh, you gave this show a 5, it's clearly a 10, you stupid, you don't know. Like, there's a lot of negativity when it comes, as much as, like, a lot of negativity that comes to the anime community in that aspect. Like, I meet people who are just so set on their opinions about these things that they're just like, and I was one of these people too. Like, I'm not gonna try to hide it. But I just met so many people who are just like, you're just so set, like, oh, this is the best show ever. If you don't rate it, you're stupid. Not you're stupid, but, like, you need to have the same opinion as me, and it just becomes like, nah, it just becomes toxic real quick, to be honest. And some stuff happened later on. Like I said, I always kind of struggled with being friends with people, and I made a ton of friends in this anime group, and just, a lot of it was me being stupid. A lot of it was, I think people being mean to me. Like, I'm not going to go ahead and say, like, I'm a victim here, but I'm also not going to say that I'm the sole, like, monster here who, like, did this to everyone, right? I'm not going to say that, because it's not true. Like, I was hurt too, but I also hurt people. And what I'm trying to say is, like, I had a big cast of friends, and just, I pretty much just fought against the wolves a lot, and if someone had a different opinion of me, then I didn't really want to hear it, because at that point, I was very much so into the I'm right, and I know I'm right, and you guys aren't right, I'm right, and that's a very upsetting thing, because, at first hand, I'm just thinking, I'm like Captain America, right? There's like that great Captain America quote that's like, I don't know the exact words to it, but it's pretty much down to compromise when you can, but if you can't, won't, and even if the whole entire word says you're wrong and tells you to move, then you step 2 foot in the ground and say, no, word, you move. And I guess I just wanted something to fight for, because back now it's like, it's just a stupid anime group, like, why the fuck am I even, like, caring that much? But back then, it was my word to me, right? And, like, I did everything I could to make sure that this group was the best and how I saw fit. But a lot of people disagree with me, a lot of that comes into specifically, like, spoilers. I'm very lax on spoilers, and I just hate it when you're in a Facebook group and they become even more so strict on spoilers, because to me it becomes less fun to interact it, and also, okay, what is a spoiler, what isn't a spoiler? Like, at a certain point, it's just, what are you even here talking about? Like, how do we even talk about these shows if you're going to be so strict? And I kind of talk into that issue a little bit later on, because that ultimately leads into why I left the group. But, at this point, there's a Discord server that I joined, and they had a lot of rules that I didn't like to follow. And, at the same time, it was frustrating because, like, these admins would make me follow these rules, make sure I do them. But the admins weren't following the rules either. And I just got, like, super pissed off. And there was this someone who I was big friends with who, gosh, I don't even remember what exactly happened. To tell you the truth, I think I just pushed her a little bit too far. Just me doing the same bullshit of me trying to say, hey, this show's great, you should watch it, and, me fight, because this person was also a mod during the anime group, because it was like the Facebook group and there's a Discord server, and this person was a mod during the Facebook group. I remember what happened. She was a mod during the Facebook group, but she always complained about everything. And I was like, hey, maybe you shouldn't complain. I was kind of giving the counter argument, and she didn't appreciate that, which is understandable. Like, that's, I hate to say it, because I know some people can give me shit for saying it, but this is like the, man 101, right? You watch a ton of sitcom when like, hey, you never try to fix, when a woman's complaining, never try to fix it, just listen. And I didn't listen. Like, I should have just listened, but I wanted to fix everything, and that caused issues. We were best friends, and at least close friends anyway, and that created a strain, and I just wanted her to talk to me, but she just stopped talking to me. And it's just, let me back up. When I was in high school, so years before any of this happened, I had a big crush on this girl, and she said something that I didn't like, and instead of talking to her about it, I decided I was going to cut that relationship off completely. And that was a habit I always had. If I was friends with someone who did something I didn't like, well, I'm just not going to be a friend anymore. And like, during, fast forward back to the anime group time, I realized that wasn't a healthy thing for me to do, right? That I should fight for the relationships. I should talk. And so this girl she was just kind of had it with me. She just thought I was annoying, that I was just like, constantly disagreeing with her. She would post things, and I kept on, man, I was so stupid doing this, but I kept on, like, she every time she would post, I would post something too, and she never responded. And so eventually I just decided to post more crazy, outlandish things, like comment her, trying to gain her attention, and she never gave me that attention. And to me, like, now it sounds like, that I was just jogging for attention, right? Like, I just did that to her because, she wouldn't talk to me. I was trying to get her to talk to me, which is absolutely the truth. But the reason why I was trying to get her to talk to me is because I thought that I could fight for this relationship. But, like, because I wanted to, like, actually deal with the issue instead of actually just letting things, instead of just, like, giving up on it. And what I kind of learned through this experience, and this is me trying to talk about anime, but what I learned from this particular experience is that it's great to fight for relationships, but if both parties don't want to fight for it, then, the other party shouldn't force it, right? So, like, as much as I wanted to, patch things up, she didn't want to patch things up. And so I should have just respected that. And what I should have done, talking about woulda, coulda, shouldas, is what I should have done is just give her some time to breathe. Send her just one text message, say, like, hey, listen, I'm sorry. I know I upset you. I'm not quite sure understanding what I did. I'm just going to leave you alone for right now. But if you ever want to patch things up, go ahead and text me back. We can talk about it. But if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. I won't comment and I won't message you. Which is what I should have said. And one night, like, I was so obsessed about it, I just blew up her phone. And it was just like, in my defense, like, I would message her on Facebook Messenger. And I kept on, like, being very aggressive. It was throughout the whole night, right? I just kept on being aggressive. I was like, no, this is bad. So I would delete the message and then try again, and then delete the message and try again. This lasted the whole night. And I thought, and, like, this would be being truthful, like, I promise. But I thought what was going on is that I could just delete the messages from my side and she won't see them at her side. But that was wrong, because I'm a dummy. And that was a hard lesson, right? That, like, no, just because if I send it, it's sent, and there's no way getting it back. And I knew that for text messages, but I didn't know that for DMs. Like, I thought if she hadn't seen it yet, I still had a chance to delete them. But totally not the case. And so that created more issues and, just a lot of friction. And eventually it got so bad, that she blocked me, right? Because I remember one time, like, I was trying to, like, hey, listen, if you want to talk, we can help out. And she's, I think I told her she needs to see therapy, which, looking back now, was a stupid-ass fucking thing to say. I shouldn't have said that. And it pissed her off. And she was like, oh, no, like, you shouldn't do this. So she blocked me, and that sucked. Because, like, this girl was, like, one of my best friends, one of my closest friends. And she hated me now. And she didn't want anything to do with me now. And it's all my own fault, right? But, like, man, like, looking back now, like, I just, you can't go back. All you can do is learn from your mistakes and move forward. And I've learned a ton of mistakes since then, right? Like, I learned how to treat people better. I learned, okay, like, this is how you deal with these situations a little better. Back then, like so many people, I came to this suspicion, like, am I the bad guy, right? And I think, yeah, a lot of times I was, but, like, I wasn't trying to hurt anybody, I didn't have, like, bad intentions. I was just trying to get someone to talk to me, and I just pushed too far enough that they decided that, no, I'm not going to give you this chance again. Which sucks, right? Because no one wants to be the bad guy. No one wants to be the person who gets blocked. And I just remember, like, feeling really sucky after that. But then, I had the rest of the group, and a lot of people in the group helped me out. They were there with me. And eventually I left the Discord server. Or I got kicked out of the... I think I got kicked out of the Discord server. It was a whole entire other mess that I don't hardly remember. But, like, eventually, like, I think I got kicked out of the Discord server. They didn't want to talk to me anymore. Because they were, they're all friends. They all hated me. It sucks, right? That creates a lot of anxiety when that stuff happens. But though eventually, after a few years, IGN was like, they stopped the podcast, and they're like, okay, we're not going to do the podcast. And throughout this time, this is all happening. They stopped doing the podcast, but they also decided to stop doing the Facebook group because they didn't want to mess with the Facebook group anymore. So they gave it out to the vote and decided that we're going to pick more people to be the Facebook group people, to be the new admins. And I was elected to be one of the admins. And that saw a lot of drama because there's a lot of people who didn't want to be admins. And that time, honestly, at that point, like, this is the part that, I've been saying, hey, listen, I did a lot of bad stuff. At this point, like, this is when, like, all the people who didn't like me because I did the bad stuff to them, they started doing bad stuff to me. And I still believe that because, hold on. I become admin, right? And a ton of people start, like, saying these things about me, like I shouldn't be admin, which is fine. because I did that to other people too, right? Like, I'm like, this person shouldn't be an admin because, they're bad or whatever. So I'm not like hating on them for saying I shouldn't be it. I'm hating on those because they took it to like the extreme. They weren't just saying, oh, Evan shouldn't be it because of this. They'll be insulting. They were being cruel. They're being harsh. Like, and they're like, this is the most bullshit thing. This is what I'm going to get angry at. Because they were saying horrible things about me. And I don't remember exactly what it was, to be honest. But I just remember them saying horrible things about me. And at one point when I ended up being elected, and they go and say, oh, boring choice for admin or whatever. Oh no, that's another story I'll get to in a second. No, I started talking about anime, but then I just talked about this whole entire like other issue that has like nothing to do with it, which is funny. But what happened is I was talking to these people and comments because they're like, no, we don't want you. Like the girl who unblocked me so she can like do some shit. I don't know why she wanted to see my post or she wanted to like talk shit to me. I really don't know, but she ended up like blocking me, and I ended up like blocking her back, and then I unblocked her, and then she blocked me. It was a nasty situation. It really was. But like she had all her friends, other people in the Discord server who weren't really even members of the Facebook group at this point. They all kind of just left and did their own thing. And sorry, I just thought about something real quick. But they all came back, which is weird to me because like they came back to talk mess to me, right? Like all they did, and I'm just like I was posting in that group like once or twice every day, several times a day, talking about anime, and these people like I was constantly on it, I was like always active, and these people they weren't even like they were part of the group. They weren't even active members, and they all came out of the woodwork to talk shit about me. And like, it's one thing if you're an active member, right? And you're like, okay, like this guy's bad, but like, it's another thing to just like, like I know they said screw this group, we hate this group, and to come back and just attack me like that, and it was very hard. It was very hard for me. And at one point, I do remember this. At one point, I was like, hey, like some people were criticizing me and talking shit, and I was like, hey, let's talk this out, right? Let's talk it through. They didn't want to do that though. Like they said some bullshit like, oh, you just can't handle criticism. Like here I am, like in the freaking comment section, like trying to think, hey, listen, let's talk about what you think I can do better. What do you think I can do to make a better admin? And it's like, oh, he can't handle criticism, and they were saying things like, oh, why didn't he have the other admins try to talk to him for him? I'm like, the other admins didn't give a shit. Like besides one was my boy who helped me out through a lot. Shout out to him. But yeah, like I'm like I had to fight my own battles here, and it was bad. And eventually, I've decided that is like I just need to make myself look really good, because all these things people are doing, they're making themselves look really bad. They're making themselves look like bullies. And like as long as I don't kind of, because they want me to kind of like seep down to their level, or at least maybe they don't want me to, but if I did seep down to their level and if I did start attacking them, then that would make me look like a bad admin, right? So I'm just gonna take it. Turn the other cheek here. And eventually they're gonna stop being mean or just leave. And yeah, that ended up happening. Like after a few days, they stopped showing up for the most part. And so anyway, that sucked. And I left. And a few years later, well, not a few years later, like a few months, like a month, like 1 year later, I should say, I think. Me and the new admin team. Before that, okay. So during the time of transition, we had to change the name because we couldn't use IGN Anime Club anymore, right? And this is some bullshit. Let me tell you, this is some fucking bullshit. I'm gonna tell you right now, because okay, so I'm over here, and the name is IGN Anime Club, right? I'm like, okay, we can't use the name. We can't just call it Anime Club, because that's a boring name, and people are gonna freaking hate it, right? And I was kind of the one in charge of doing the name change, and all the other admins was like, nah, bro, like it's fine, we're just gonna call it, because we did a poll. And it was a weird situation when like most people, we did a poll saying what the new name was gonna be. There's one that won out was just calling it Anime Club, but most people just just hated it, you know. I should join that club again. See what happens. Most people just like kind of hated it, right? Which was like funny to me, you know. And sorry, I'm just. All these memories are coming back, so I'm spacing out. I apologize. But what was basically happening is I was the one in charge of the name change. I was like, listen, guys, no one's gonna want this group to be called Anime Club. Because the way, I forgot exactly how, but the way we did the polling wasn't the best way. Like, no one wants this club to be called Anime Club. I promise you. And like, oh no, it's gonna be. I'm like, okay, fine. And like, I was the one in charge of it, so I made the post, okay, we're changing it to Anime Club. And I switched everything. And everyone freaking attacked me for it. Like, everyone said, oh, you're stupid. You're a stupid admin, changing it to a stupid name. And I was like, for one, it was a poll. And for two, I didn't want it. I didn't want it to be called that name in the first place. I thought it was bad. But the other admins were like, no, we gotta do it. I'm like, okay, fine, we'll do it. And this was what part, like, I think really, like, made me the most pissed off. And thing that, like, eventually led to me leaving the group was that, you know, they could have said, hey, listen, Evan, you know, he's just speaking on behalf of us, right? Like, this is a group decision. But they never did. They just let me take the fall for it. And I told them, I said, no one's going to like it, and they're going to attack me. And no one ever apologized for me because of it. No one ever acknowledged that it happened, right? And, like, even when I brought it up, they just, like, they wouldn't deny it, but they wouldn't, like, you know, oh, yeah, that happened either. And it was just like, fuck you. Like, honestly, fuck you, because I went through all that bullshit, and they couldn't even help me out there. And they didn't help me out. Like, this is one fellow admin of mine. I'm spilling some hella tea at this point. But they were friends with all the people who were harassing me. I was like, hey, listen, can you just talk to them and make it so that they don't do this anymore, right? And they're just like, oh, it's not my business. I'm not gonna handle it. I'm just like, we're supposed to be a team. I don't care. I'm like, oh man, that's some bullshit, right? So whatever. You know, we changed the name to We Anime Club, which I probably shouldn't even say the name of that club group now. But we changed the name to this other group, and we, you know, it doesn't matter because I always said it was IG and Anime Club, so whatever. We changed the name to, you know, a group that people liked. But long and behold, when we did change the name, you know, the people who were talking mess, they didn't freaking, like, I don't remember. I think they either didn't say anything because they're all gone at this point, or two, they all, like, you know, gave praise to the other admins. Like, whatever. Like, BS, right? BS. Like, I get all the crap because you didn't like the name, but, you know, I don't get any of the praise when we changed it. Like, screw you guys. And then, so anyway, those people leave, and there's just a lot of stuff happened after that. Like, me going towards, like, me and the admin team just didn't get along, and that sucks, because, like, this is the same old story, right? Like, me and these people, we all have different ideas of what we should be doing, and it sucks. Like, I don't want to be the type of guy who's always against what other people want, but at the same time, like, I have to be true to myself, you know, and I just always get sent in these situations when I'm the odd man out. Like, I just have different opinions about everything. And, you know, once I keep it happening to too many groups, you're like, am I ever going to fit in? And, like, that's a lot of the issues, like I said, I always kind of struggled with. And so, like, it was a big thing on spoilers. Like, Attack on Titan came in, and we were like, oh, we can't do spoilers. And then I was like, fine. And then we was like, well, we're going to do, like, one post a week. I'm like, fine. And then, like, I put, like, one comment that, in my mind, still is, like, not a spoiler. But then other people saw it as a spoiler. And, like, oh, we're deleting this. I'm like... And that's when it comes into, like, okay, like, the thing about spoilers is that we all have different opinions about what constitutes a spoiler and what doesn't constitute a spoiler. Me, I said something that would happen. Okay, I was like, it was something was going on in the story. I was like, oh, I can't wait till this happens. and it could have happened in the manga. And you can take that as a spoiler. In my opinion, though, right, it was always set up. Like, it was already set up because it was just so obvious, right? Like, this is the way the story was going to go. And I guess they didn't feel the same way, which is fine. That's their prerogative. And at that point, just like, I had a lot of infighting with the admins. I don't really remember all of it, but just a lot of stuff of like, we just weren't eye to eye, and I didn't really think I was being listened, so I left. And I'll be honest, like, I'm happy that I left that group, but I'm not happy that of the way I did it, right? Because I kind of left as very like, oh, fuck you guys, and like, I was angry, and I just kind of sad when I should have just been like, hey, listen, you know what? I don't think this is working out. You and I, we clearly have different ideas here, and I think it's just best that I, like, leave, which is what I should have done, but I didn't. And, yeah, that's the story. I no longer was in a group of the Anime Club. And, I feel like I've grown a lot as a person, right? Nowadays, like, I used to obsess over all this, but nowadays I don't. And it's funny how that works. Because I guess, like, I started telling a story about how much I love anime. But to me, anime and friendship is like so tied to each other, and it's just hard to be introduced to like a loner and be introduced to a group of people and then have them turn your back on you, which I know was my fault. And I know that we can't expect other people to put up with you. It's just true. At the time, though, it doesn't make it hurt any less, right? And, part of me is like, man, I hate having to change myself to appease other people, but, you kind of have to. And a lot of people say you don't, and, like, in some instances you don't, like, if you have friends with sports fans, like, you shouldn't pretend to like sports to be friends with them. But at the same time, like, people, like, you might have different ideas about what's nice and what isn't nice in other people, and, if you violate their needs of what they believe is nice, they're not going to like you. And so that sucks, because you have to, and everybody's different. Everyone in this earth is different, so everyone has different rules, and you just have to learn each individual person. And I think that's probably why, close friendships are so hard to come by, because, it's so hard to really find someone who you jive with and who you don't, feel them upset, and they can actually, like, be yourself without insulting anybody or making somebody feel left out. So I don't know, growing up, that was definitely a big issue for me. But, I'm older now. I kind of know people more, and I'm happy to report that, I left that group, and, once I moved, like, I just feel like all those issues kind of just went away. Like, who cares about if these people didn't like me or not? Like, I had to find a job, like, that's more important. Like, I have to, like, live by myself for the first time. So I guess, the pain of life is that everything is just in perspective. And not to say, like, oh, someone else is, like, dealing with something worse than you, but because that's not healthy. But also to say that, hey, you know what, you're gonna get through this, and you have many other battles to come, and you have many other hardships to come, and all you gotta do is just grow more about yourself. I still love anime, right? I think I would do a deep dive anime topic, but I would have to figure out how to do it, because I don't want to use B-roll or anything, or anime B-roll, so I'm gonna have to figure out the correct format. I might just do this and talk into the camera for a little bit. Okay.